Hey, Scott, did you get the flame-proof underwear that I sent you?
Oh, no, I think I know where we're going with this one. So here we go. But you know what? This is weird because we both have this as part of who we are as people, having grown up,
That's
steered in front of a. Well, we have to
goddamn
see. We even have almost the exact same background
all
image.
right. I'll one up you with something even more offensive.
Okay, okay, fine. I can do this all day. I got the same thing.
Hey, you figure he had a bunch of anti-Semitic tropes in it. Well, why not have some black food?
All right. I guess we've already officially begun. So
I've never seen this. I know it's legendary. I guess
you
I mean,
never
I've been
saw
wanting to see
this
it for a while.
Oh,
I really have been. I've never seen it. I've been wanting to see it for a while. It's been on my short list. What the fucking fuck?
I know, right? And the weird thing is, the version you saw is not as bad as the original
somebody
version.
tell me how this thing used to end? Because dumping her off was pretty.
The thing is, dumping her
great.
off is that's the happy ending where you go and dump her off.
Sad
He goes off forever after with Mrs. George C. Scott, right? So they go off in the sunset, and that's the end of the film. And the original ending, and which I've looked everywhere for several days,
Not
and I
even on
can't
YouTube,
find
huh?
it. No, I scoured YouTube. I could not find it. It's out there because it was on VHS for a while.
Sure.
But anyway, they do two get home. They're getting busy. The two characters, and
Oh wait, so it ends. He dumps her off.
Dumps her off. They leave. They go back to the apartment, and he's like,
ending.
relieved. His perpetual
his perpetual blue balls.
He has that expression this entire movie. Finally lifts and he looks happy, and he's like, he's kind of gonna score with Trish Van Devere, and it's looking really good. He got a phone call from the old folks home and saying she's unmanageable. She's screaming and yelling, "Where's Papa? Where's Papa?" She freaks out. She leaves, and that expression comes back again. So he drives all the way back out to the home in the middle of the night. Breaks down the door of a room, and she says, "Where's Papa?" And it says, "I'm here. I'm Papa." And then jumps in bed with her, and that's the end of the movie.
Oh God.
That's horrible.
It's
They should have left that in.
They should have.
It would have been a better ending for sure.
I don't
A better,
know
worse ending.
I don't know how you can make this a worse ending film. That's how you do it. But it was.
Oh, come now. She was unmanageable and she knew what she was doing.
Unmanageable.
Ruth Gordon is so good.
I've seen Ruth Gordon in 3 pictures now, and 2 of them made me want to throw her down a flight of stairs.
I was going to say, I think she's kind of the same in every movie. Let's be honest.
She's nice in Harold and Maude. She's lovely in Harold and Maude. But in this and Rosemary's Baby, it's just like, oh, God.
She knew how to work it, man. She knows how to work your nerves.
She's also a writer.
Yeah. She's an Academy Award nominated writer.
Yeah.
For like 3 scripts.
Her and her husband there, old Garrison Kane or whatever.
You know what? I got a kick out of. I got a big kick out of the number of people that were going to be famous later in this movie is fucking crazy.
I know.
I look. It's not even mentioned in the IMDb, but in one of the courtroom scenes, middle of the aisle is Martin Cove.
Mm-hmm.
Who was in Death Race 2000, but played the other guy, the bad dojo owner in Karate Kid.
Right. That's right. He was in the movie.
Literally a blink and you miss him. I rewound it twice to make sure it was him. It's totally him. I know that Penny Marshall shows up in this.
Well before Laverne and Shirley. That was
like
She's just one of the jurors. She has no lines.
Yeah, everybody's in this.
Well, she was going out with Meathead.
Oh, Rob Reiner. Right.
Reiner,
That makes sense. Yeah.
And the thing is that scene, that courtroom scene, was funny in that you're seeing this, Bernard Hughes talking about how he used to love killing people. But
hilarious.
The end, when they drag him away, just yelling about the war, isn't particularly funny.
No,
kind of like most of this movie.
Yeah, this whole movie is not particularly funny.
No, it's the tone is off. But the thing is, I'm guessing it's just part of the times.
I was trying to imagine.
Is the 70s just a really unfunny decade? Is that what's going on here?
Look at the clothing they were wearing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you have to
imagine. How can you be funny in that?
Well, you have to imagine that this was being filmed in 69.
Yeah.
Well, this is also a new Hollywood film, so they realized that Carl Reiner says, I can do anything I want. And so that's what he did.
What was the Albert Brooks movie where he's getting his whole life recorded for television?
That was real life 10 years later.
All right.
10 years later. Okay. Yes. It made me think of it in that
79.
Now I look at that film more fondly because I didn't care for it, but it's funnier than this.
God,
I
you guys
agree.
are just not into black comedy, huh?
No,
Well,
maybe not.
so-
this,
I
is
don't-
big- this is the blackest black comedy I
I
can
get
think of.
that's what this is. So this is for the time. I'm sure this was shocking in a whole different level. It has not aged particularly well because it punches down like crazy.
Well, what do
And-
you wait? Explain
It's
that.
just not particularly funny.
And there's a it goes from being, oh, this is a rape joke to this is an anal rape joke to I mean, like it's just,
yeah. That's definitely the
fun.
yeah. I mean,
the fun.
it's
The nadir.
collection of like like 1970s Mad Magazine, National Lampoon comedy bits, which I admittedly like a lot of the time, but there was just something about seeing it on screen that wasn't.
Well, that's
Perhaps if you'd seen it in your 20s.
that's the thing. This comedy. This comedy is
When I was 5.
This comedy is fairly unrestrained as a form. It's just they're out to offend, and that's what was happening here. Yeah, and
didn't write this. Somebody else.
yeah.
Wrote,
also, there's a couple of I thought there was a couple of really brilliant bits in this film. Again, I haven't seen it for many years. I just picked it because I haven't seen it in many years. But anyway, there's a bit where Trish Van Devier's character is talking about why she got divorced.
oh,
that had a good punchline. Come on.
really
I forget what was the punchline.
Talk
He
about
did a
her husband.
caca. He did a caca in the
Oh, he
bed.
did a
Caca
caca
on
in
the
the bed. I mean, come on.
It's not funny.
It wasn't funny.
You
It's
didn't,
like,
you didn't laugh? Oh my God!
Literally scatological humor. Okay.
But then, okay, that was a question of whether or not you were set at the humor level this film is at, which I guess you were.
No, this is a movie with fart and dick jokes.
Are you in or are you out?
It was
exactly.
seeing Paul Sorvino as a youngster.
Yeah, it was nice.
Everybody is a youngster.
Actually, there's a throwaway when he's like so screwed up he can't do his job. He's in the middle of a trial and he just loses it and he can't talk. And he says, I gotta take a break. I request a 10-minute recess. And as he's walking out of the room, the judge says denied, and he says thank you, and he walks out. It's like I laughed. It was such a throwaway, but I really laughed.
I don't think that
Also,
George.
and when they're out there talking, the cop like chimes in on their conversation.
Yes.
I think George Siegel's one of those people that's like never been young because to me he still looks like he's fucking 80 right here.
He
I don't
looks
understand
staggered.
what the
That's
fuck's
true.
going on with
And
him.
that was, I guess, that
I
5
fucking
years
love that
before
guy,
this.
Like he came out of the womb and looked like 38, like
Yeah.
he just did,
He
and
just
like
looks-
he's
he
never.
just looks so stressed out this entire movie. Just
I've
unhappy.
got so many George Siegel movies in the like. I love this guy.
Yeah,
We did-
I think he's
Superman.
great too, but this just
he's been in some great films, man.
Who's Afraid of Virginia
I
Woolf?
appreciate
Yeah,
his commitment.
Barbara
to
love that
being
one.
in this
Love
movie.
Virginia Woolf, and love wasn't he the Terminal Man? That was fucking
Yes.
amazing.
That was a Terminal
Terminal
Man.
Man,
yeah.
He's in
hello,
Terminal Man.
fucking Flirting with Disaster and
Uh-huh.
Fun with Dick and Jane and
Fun with Dick
like
and
a
Jane, the
million
70s
mid-
one, yeah. Uh-huh.
all the 70s movies. He was
Right.
great. Oh, the hot, what was it? The Hot Rock. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I love that.
It was funny.
There was also a bit where
historical artifact. This movie.
there was a bit where I
Historical
actually
artifact.
I got Eileen to come in and watch it again with me. There was a scene with the dog ate her, and that was a very good dog
Oh, right, the dog
Okay.
with
the thing hanging out of his mouth, and
I
just
like the way he put his paw up.
I know. No, it's like the thing is, I noticed in the reverse angle when they're down low and the cops are talking dogs in the foreground. You hear the dog is going, it's some very thorough filmmaking. You know, they actually get the dog panting.
I don't know if this was funny when
there
it
was
came out.
One
Maybe
other bit
I don't
of
know.
nepotism in it. The kid who
50 years
plays
ago,
his
man.
nephew, Sheldon Hawkeiser,
right?
is Mel Brooks's son.
Oh, really?
They just got everybody who lived in New York
Eddie-
in this movie.
Eddie
That's right.
Brooks.
Not Max.
Also, this wonderful fairy
Yeah,
tale.
Max is the one he had with Anne Bancroft. This
There was
is-
two brothers, both lived on either side of Central Park on like Parkside apartments.
Yeah.
Like that can't be like exactly working class, you know.
This guy, this fucking Ron Liebman has been in like a bazillion goddamn movies.
I
Yeah,
know.
he's
so good.
He never
he's
had
a
to
very
run
famous
Slaughterhouse
character
Five.
actor.
Uh-huh.
He never had to run bare ass across Madison Avenue in any of them other than this one.
Exactly. Well, we have a very quiet corner up on the upper left here. Very quiet.
I think it's Tad's favorite movie.
No. He wants your
you
hour
were
and a
gonna
half,
hate this.
hour and 20 minutes back, don't you? At least it's short.
I just knew you were going to.
This felt 25 times longer than
It
the
did
other
not
movie.
feel short.
Uh-huh.
It's really slow moving a lot of the time.
This is one of the worst things I've watched for this, and I want my time back.
Okay. Well,
And I was complaining about, actually, when I put it in the chat, the score to this is so disgustingly bad. It's so
I
bad.
don't actually remember it very well.
It's like some of the first pieces are like they hurt your ears. They're so awful.
They wrote these custom songs with weird lyrics that were relating to what was in the scene.
Yes, they did.
It's just weird.
It's weird, dude. Where they're talking about like the dick and fart jokes are in the songs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's
Well,
really
when this film was marketed, it was marketed as being transgressive. You know, don't tell your friends
It's not.
happen. What?
Well,
it's not.
It's not transgressive. What are you saying?
It's not transgressive. This is just dumb shit humor that isn't funny. It's not transgressive. Transgressive is about going outside of the bounds of what's societally acceptable. This was all societally acceptable at the time. The racism, the sexism, the homophobia, the rape jokes, all of that was fine. It's not funny. That's it. The top to bottom, it is not a funny movie. The jokes don't land. They didn't land back then. I'm sorry if you think it's funny. It sucks. Period. End of story. It's not transgressive because it's made by a bunch of rich people about a bunch of rich people who have rich people fears, and that's it.
I'll give you
Well,
that.
It's just mean. The
Mhm.
movie is just mean.
it is mean.
And how was the play?
Yeah.
But it's
I'm
like,
not gonna
yeah.
argue that either. That's actually
No, I mean, what you find offensive is subjective. What you find funny is subjective. But I agree. I think we're all kind of
Yeah, we're all dunking on
didn't really find it funny. I don't think it was funny. Maybe it was funny when it came out. I didn't laugh once. In fact, it was kind of torturous to watch, to be honest.
I feel like
Those things that look like humor in a funhouse mirror.
the movie poster makes a point of emphasizing the quote the tushy scene, which is where Ruth Gordon plants her lips on George Siegel's butt.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm like waiting for the tushy scene. The tushy scene comes and I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
And then they re-released it under the title "Going Ape" because there's an ape gorilla suit in it.
That's right.
Wait, did they?
Oh,
Yes, they did, and there's posters for it online. You can
In
see it.
1975,
Going
5
ape
years
was
later.
this?
Yeah.
Going Ape.
No.
Yeah. That I remember.
that title rings a bell, whereas this one does not. For me.
I was aware of Going Ape because I saw the posters. I had no idea it was this being re-released.
It's the same film. Yeah.
That is
Well, you know what? But what was happening is that all the stars in there got bigger and bigger, and so they thought they could re-release it with the same stars and they make some money.
Oh yeah.
Just give a new name. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna. I feel like I'm presiding over like a traumatic one of those a group for people who experienced a trauma.
Show us on the doll where the bad movie touched you.
Counselor, it's like is your medication?
Turn it over.
historical.
This is my review of the movie.
Yeah.
No, I this is to me a interesting perspective on a time with a lot of people that went on to do famous things later. And no, it's not very good. And it's not very funny.
I'll tell you,
I have so much love and respect in my heart for Carl Reiner that it's like I just want to forget that Carl Reiner did this movie.
The guy who wrote this wrote Weekend at Bernie's and Weekend at Bernie's 2, so that's pretty much all you need to know.
Although I'll tell you one thing, it's like having seen this as a kid, I was like,
how is a guy allowed to be in Hollywood?
I found it amusing when I was 9 years old.
Bernie's made a lot of money.
It did.
This is
But it's dumb.
This is one of the few Carl Reiner films I could probably not recommend to people. It's like, you're just going to be offended by this film, you know.
I was almost mad at you personally in the middle of this, Scott. I just want you to know that.
I believe it. I believe it. But
this dog's all right.
The dog was all right.
The dog, that's a good dog, but the other dog was good too. There are very good dogs in this film. That doesn't say much about the
What's that on the poster?
Listen, I was gonna pick this if you didn't, probably.
That's the thing, right? I just took the bullet for you, basically.
Bullet, man. Thank you for going there first.
Well, you know, I had to. This is on my short list for a while too. I want to get it out, and again, it goes to the bad mom.
Why?
What? What?
Why?
Because again, part of the theme. It's like the bad mom theme, and
Who's gonna sucker punch you in
There's
Temecula?
worse bad mom, or there's better bad mom movies, like considerably.
I don't know. This is pretty bad in other areas aside from just
this poor woman has fucking Alzheimer's and is being treated like a fucking punching bag for the entire movie. Like, yes, she should have been in a home a long time ago with people who can take care of someone who has this kind of horrifying senility.
The very first fucking scene, this gorilla suit exists because he is trying to give her a heart attack
to kill her.
Yes.
I'm going to say one thing in defense of this thing, and I'm going to stop because obviously you guys all hate it, which is fine. But this,
I think Jim liked it.
Well, Jim liked it because But anyway, this film is about. This is made in 1970 and is made in New York, and it's about the breakdown of American society. So you're going to see Ruth Gordon being this abused grandma who is, or a mother who needs to be in a home but can't because just everything's fucked up. And you're going to see Ron Liebman, getting messed up by like
she
buggers
can't be in a home because her sons made a promise to their dying father.
Yeah,
there's nothing to do with society being fucked up.
It still does. It still informs it, I think. And this is this
has nothing to do with like the debt crisis in New York in the 70s when like the banks wouldn't buy bonds. Like this is about rich people having rich people problems, which is you promised your dad that you wouldn't fucking drop your mom off at a home even though she belongs in one.
Mm-hmm. All right, there it is. But like I said, it's not a question of the specifics, it's a question about the tone.
Yeah, the tone sucks too.
All right, well, there it is. All right, well, I'm not going to...
Jim's Corner, please.
Yes, take it, Jim.
Thought it was funny.
It's not a great movie, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it might be the worst thing I've watched for this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, there are way worse.
There's a couple of...
I've seen way worse than this.
There's a couple of John picks that they haunt me.
Yeah.
That thing with the flying...
Gargoyle movie.
Movie.
You can at least laugh at it. You can't laugh at this.
Yeah. I rate the Gargoyle movie above this.
All right. Well, okay.
Whatever that thing was called.
I do not blame you for the
-1 and -1A. Congratulations, John.
Also, in my defense, I hadn't seen it when I picked it, and Scott doesn't have that to hide behind.
That's true.
Although I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and I didn't know what was going to happen. So there it is.
So I like how behind you there's the Pepsi Cola.
It's actually
Florida
Dr. Pepper.
It's Pepsi into a Lucky Charms.
And Florida fucking orange growers are contributing to the marketing for this movie.
Yeah, that's right. Cut 6 pieces, not 4 pieces. Anyway, yeah, okay. Well, like I said, it's. I think like a lot of stuff, like National Lampoon and or even early Mad, this humor did not age very well at all.
Right. Bad humor doesn't age.
No,
well.
it doesn't. It is. We talked about this last week. It's like bad humor.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'll play devil's advocate for a second. Who's watched Blazing Saddles recently?
Me. It's still funny.
Okay. Because
is it more or less offensive than this?
This is offensive. This is offensive on the level of like it's offensive to like your senses and your like ability to understand plot and comedy. That's offensive in terms of like it has bad words in it. Like
okay,
I don't know. There's some naked racism in that film. There is
naked racism, but it was also written by Richard Pryor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I recently rewatched.
It gets half a pass at least because Pryor wrote it. Like Pryor signed off on all those jokes.
Yeah. Well, okay. Like I'm gonna say one thing.
And according to Mel Brooks, wrote the most offensive ones.
Yeah.
Like
I don't doubt it. I mean,
I don't doubt it either.
Yeah, movie's still funny as shit, but it is definitely like it's.
Oh, I wouldn't show it to like a 20-something. Like no.
Well, you can't show that movie to a 20-something.
No.
Well, being a kid when this came out and knowing the kind of stuff that was available as in terms of humor, I said Lampoon and Mad Magazine and other movies very much like this. This doesn't stick out that far. But the thing is, I think we've changed a lot. And
when I was a kid, I watched History of the World Part 1 over and over. And they just actually made part 2 as a
I would
television show
describe, and I
on
would
Hulu.
as an oldster, I would describe that as lesser Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lesser Brooks, but it's also offensive in many ways, which I didn't understand when I was young.
Yeah.
No,
Well, that's the thing about
But it's also kind of funny. Like, so it some of it works.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, Jews in Space is a really funny
Oh,
song.
the fucking producers, man.
That's hilarious.
Producers had a nice strong
And
plot, but
Gregory Hines does some great stuff.
I
in that
laughed
movie.
as hard. I watched the producers a couple of years ago, and at Springtime to Hitler, I laugh as hard
Because
as
those you brought it, Chris. You specifically brought it up. Those movies don't punch down. This movie punches down.
No, they don't.
Constantly.
It does. It does punch down hard.
Yeah.
Although, mind you, after this, I rewatched Pelham 1, 2, 3, and actually, that's a funnier film than this.
Well, yeah, that's a good
It's
movie.
weird.
Well-known comedy, Pelham 1, 2, 3.
It's not a comedy, but actually, it's much funnier. Because I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, let's go to the cards. Let's get this over with. All right, fine. Even
We got Jim. We got one.
We got Jim.
Scott,
Jim and
I
half
do
of
not
a Scott.
blame you for this. I
Yeah.
do not blame you for this at all.
Okay, well, thanks. I appreciate that.